For the first time this fall, we welcome you to the Cardinal Report. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take you inside North Central College athletics. I'm Justin Zipser. Before we sit down with some of the coaches and players that have made the fall Cardinal sports lineup memorable, let's get you caught up on the first 6 weeks of the season. We begin with women's soccer. The Cards began with optimism, fresh off their first trip to the CCIW tournament in 2012. 2013 has been difficult. North Central failed to register a win until game number 7, a home tilt against Beloit College. North Central used 3 goals in the span of about 15 minutes from Hannah Smith, Amy Gerald, and Katrina McNeila to grab the win. The Cards then followed that game up with a conference opening win in Decatur against Milliken. But since then, NCC has dropped its next 4 CCIW contests. They still have 2 games left in the regular season. Senior Hope Stayer needs 1 goal to become the program's all-time leading goal scorer. Men's soccer started strong, including 4 wins in the team's first 5 matches. In an early September matchup, the Cards racked up 6 goals in the second half against Albion College. NCC currently sits at 1-3 in conference play, but if the team wins out in its final 3 CCIW matches, the Cards could have a chance at their first postseason berth. North Central women's tennis finished off its 7th straight season with at least 8 wins. The team's 4th place CCIW tournament finish was its best since getting 3rd in 2009. We were on hand for the team's 9-0 win over Dominican University, including a 6-0, 6-1 straight set win from North Central freshman Katie Drone over Jill Metcalf. Drone was named to the CCIW's 2nd team, the program's 5th all-CCIW selection. Women's volleyball has been up and down this season. The Cards will need a strong conference finish if they want to make their 6th straight CCIW tournament. Sophomores Laura Kluk, Amanda Hilmer, and Amanda Walker have been fantastic for North Central. Men's cross country is dominant as usual. The 2-time defending national champions are currently ranked number 1 in the nation. Of the team's 9 meets this season, Al Carey's squad has won 5 of them. John Creighton is already a USTF CCA 3-time National Runner of the Week in 2013. And that brings us to women's cross country and women's golf. We're not going to spoil things because when we return, we're joined by players and coaches from both teams. Next on the Cardinal Report.
Ready? Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. Joining us now on set is 2007-2010 CCIW Coach of the Year, Tye Thompson. Thanks for joining us, Tye.
Well, glad to be here, Justin. Thank you.
You're coming off a pretty impressive fall season. Really, you guys have been doing really well last couple seasons. What's the kind of sense after you wrapped up your fall season here in 2013?
Well, the sense is, one, we were expected to win the conference championship, so coming in second was great. It was one of the things that I look forward to every year to see if we can't be competitive, and I think we were. I'm pretty sure our team showed that that we were a team to reckon with.
Now, second in the CCIW Championships,
yes.
And you had an individual champion in Mary Kate Rohn. First
yes.
time that's happened in a number of years. Talk about her season a little bit and how it wrapped up and culminated really well in that CCIW Championships.
Okay, well, first of all, Mary Kate is the second CCIW individual champion that we've had at North Central College. And this was a magical year for her. I think Mary Kate set out the year to have an outstanding year as a senior, and then she went out and did it. I'm very happy for her because it was one of her personal goals. But by her doing it, helped lead our team to our second place finish. So it was a good year.
Now, along with Alayna and Dufour, you guys have a couple of really nice seniors and a young team. A lot of freshmen coming in this year that kind of had to learn the ropes as they went along. Mm-hmm. How much easier is it for you as a coach when you have a couple of seniors that you can lean on to kind of show girls how it's done throughout the season?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a factor to have. Yes, Alayna is a senior. I only have 2, and that's Alayna and Mary Kate. And it was very tough to have the young team that we have. But the 2 of them showed the kind of leadership for the young folks to know that it's going to take a lot of discipline. It's going to take a lot of commitment for us to try to continue this program heading in the right direction. So I owe that to both of them. And then for the past 4 years, both of them have been mainstays into our program. I mean, the two of them also went to our national championship team. So with that experience, it can only help the freshmen to feed off of that. And so I'm very thankful for that. And yes, we have a great, promising future.
Obviously, with Mary Kate and Alayna leaving next year, you have new people coming in. You have these freshmen, sophomores, and juniors from this past year that are going to kind of move on up.
Right.
What's the sense that you get from the future of North Central golf specifically?
Well, it's a bright future. I'm more than excited over the 6 freshmen we had come in. 4 of them average in the 80s, which is the first time that has happened in a long time. And then I have a couple juniors, and I have a senior next year. I have a junior today, but I have a senior next year. So that's why I think that our team will be in good hands, but at the same time, they're going to be young. Justin, they're going to be a young team, so the challenge is out there for us to try to duplicate or even go to the next level, and that's win the conference next year. It's going to be tough.
Now, the thing about the CCIW Championships that I thought was kind of interesting was that you lost by a stroke team-wise, or by a couple of strokes rather, to Carthage College. And this was a team a couple weeks back. You played them in the NCC Fall Classic, and you had beat them by 1 stroke. What kind of rivalry is there with Carthage, and what does this add to it?
Well, first of all, it's a great rivalry. I believe all the players, including myself, with the coaching staff at Carthage, we get along well. This is one of those kind of situations where you're competing against your brother or your sister. Okay, if they win, we're supportive of their win. If we win, they'll be supportive of our win. So I think this is going to be great for the CCIW to have a new champion in Carthage. That therefore Illinois Wesleyan is in a rebuilding, and it gives us an opportunity to put pressure on both of those schools.
And obviously, you've been with the team for a while now, and we haven't had you on the show for a while. What's it been like? What are you like off the golf course? Because we see you all the time, and you're a very nice guy. What can we see from you outside the golf course? Golfing, I know you like to golf on your own time as well.
Well, I'm a new grandfather, so actually you may not see a lot of me going forward. The golf, North Central College, since I relocated here 16 years ago, has been like the backbone of what my life is. I retired in 2003, and I'm just finishing my 10th year with the program, and I just can say that besides some of the trials and tribulations that go along with developing a team and trying to build a championship, my joy is to watch the young ladies graduate in June. I get the biggest thrill that the girls that I recruit and they come in and see them grow and then they move on. I had one that just emailed me the other night and told me she's expecting her 2nd child. So that's why I'm a grandfather. I'm getting old.
Well, we congratulate you on your grandchild, and we congratulate you on another successful season. Thanks for joining us, Tye.
Well, thank you, Justin, for having me, my friend.
And when we come back, we will have a couple of the seniors that led North Central to its impressive season next on the Cardinal Report.
Today is Saturday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. We're joined now by seniors Alayna Dufour and Mary Kate Rohn. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here on the Cardinal Report.
Thank you for having us.
So you guys are the 2 seniors on the team, and as we talk with Coach Thompson, that it's kind of a burden to bear when you're the only 2 seniors on any athletic squad. Mary Kate, we'll start with you. What was it like being a leader on this team, a senior leader? You've gone through the ranks. You've been with this team for a while. What was it like being in that senior leadership role this year?
It was really enjoyable. And being a senior is bittersweet because you're kind of ready to go into the real world, but you're not. And being able to be a leader and influence other people based on the experiences we've had the past 4 years is a very great experience.
And obviously, you guys were with the national championship attending team back in 2011. Alayna, what did you learn back then that you kind of took to your senior year to try to impart on some of these younger golfers on the team?
It was basically where it was a really good experience, and you went there and experienced everything, and you're like, wow, that's something that I can take with me the rest of my life, and that you kind of see, especially being freshmen, for that experience that we had, you really take that with and kind of hold it with you. Obviously, up until now that we're seniors, and you kind of think back and say, hey, these freshmen also, if we show them what they're capable of doing and they can just work hard at it and everything like that, they're able to do the same thing, and be in the same boat that we were in.
And you guys are coming off the Golf Week invite down in Florida along the Gulf of Mexico, and I bring this up mostly because when we're taping this today, it's rainy, it's kind of cold, there's some snow today, so you guys were down in Florida, so I'm jealous, first of all. Second of all, jealous of your scores as well. You guys finished really well in that Golf Digest Invitational. What was it like down there in Florida, kind of representing the school away from Illinois in kind of a nationwide experience?
Well, it was great getting out of this weather, and it was 80s, sunny, really great weather out there. And it's different golf out there. It's different type of grass, different courses, and the competition was really strong. And so it was good to play with schools that really pushed you and had really good players. So everybody was really committed there. So it was a really good tournament to play in, really good experience. And
what was it like down for you with Florida?
I have to say the same thing. It was nice to have a variety of different teams than just playing with teams that may be in our conference. It was fun to meet new girls and have the experience. And we were in a villa, so it was really nice just to enjoy the five of us
That's cool.
went.
So you 63rd overall for Alayna, 22nd overall for Mary-Kate. Let's back it up another week or so to the CCIW Championships, kind of the culmination of the entire season. Last year, you guys finished 4th as a team. You bump it up a couple spots this year, 2nd, and you finished 1st overall. What was that like, finishing 1st overall? You kind of been knocking on the door for a couple years here.
It was a really great experience. Last year, I was in the same boat after day one, leading the tournament. And this year, the competition was, I think, stronger than it ever has been, at least since our freshman year. So being able to come out on top, especially when we had bad weather the last day, and it wasn't, the most ideal conditions, but it was just like a great experience, and really like the icing on the cake for a really enjoyable 4 years.
And Alayna, Coach said before the tournament that he thought it would be one of the most hotly contested CCIW championships in a number of years. Do you think that held true?
I think so. It was really competitive, and we were all real close within, obviously, numbers for the teams, and that ended up happening. But obviously, we came in 2nd, and I felt it was very successful, and obviously, she got 1st. And it was really nice. Like he kind of mentioned before, we're kind of close with Carthage, and I also think that obviously had an influence on us as a team, and kind of brought up our spirits, and knew we can obviously have a chance to win the CCIW championship.
And a number of freshmen, as we mentioned, on the team this year, Megan Kelly among some other ones as well. What was it like playing with new players? Obviously, you play with new players every single year, but was it any different knowing that this would be the last year that you would kind of be meeting new people and playing with them throughout the season?
It was kind of sad, kind of knowing, obviously, that we can't continue our college career, but it also gave us some encouragement, saying, hey, if we can be good leaders to these freshmen, and obviously we've met wonderful people within our 4 years, and it's really an influence to kind of show them and be proud to kind of have us say, hey, we showed these girls what they're capable of doing. They know what they're capable of doing, and then have a successful future.
Mary-Kate, what's the number one thing that you want you want to leave this program with? Any type of knowledge, way of doing things out there on the golf course?
The main thing that I've learned is you have to put passion and heart and determination into everything that you do. And with golf, you have to stay in the moment and play one shot at a time. So you have to leave your heart on the golf course and just play to the best of your ability and just stay focused.
Well, guys, we thank you very much for being on. 2 seniors, we wish you luck with life after college.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Don't go anywhere. We still have one more team to check in with next on the Cardinal Report.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
We're back on the Cardinal Report, now joined by North Central women's cross country coach, Mahesh Narayanan. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thank you.
We're going to get into it here. I mean, your team ranked 5th now in the Midwest region by way of the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, up from 9 from last week. And I think what we've been seeing for the season is that you're making strides. Each and every week, you're getting better and better and better. And how's that been working out for you so far?
It's been working out pretty well. Obviously, we moved up in the rankings. We weren't even on the charts at one point. The biggest thing is we are beating teams head-to-head, which is probably as evident as you can. I know there's a couple teams ahead of us that are still very formidable, and those are teams we want to keep our eyes on. Part of this time of year, and we talked with our ladies literally this past Saturday, our season starts now, championship season begins. With that said, there's other really good teams out there. Their season has begun, so you almost have to, it's a clean slate from here on out. At any point, veterans will be able to, they know how to race this time of year. Freshmen are learning, and so for them to continue is a big deal. But we are very excited about what's coming up with conference. We're hosting in 2 weeks, and then soon thereafter will be the NCAA series.
So you got some new faces this year, obviously, with the top 7, maybe a little bit beyond that as well. I want to ask you, as a coach, because there's only 5 meets before your CCIW championship meet, how much do you gauge the progress of your team by way of the meets that you've gone through, the 5 meets, or by practice, other reasons?
Both. We need both. Part of it is there's nothing beats live competition. We can practice, but until you see some of those teams, that are in the conference, that you see in the regional, even interregional, you really need to, that's where the experience comes from. The practice, we talk about this all the time. Again, we're a racing team. We don't want to be a practice team. So part of it is how you shape your week really is based on how your racing season is. Again, we want to be able to sustain ourselves from day one, from late August to late November. So part of that is really pacing yourself. The other piece of it is our practices really help sustain our fitness and our philosophy and our game plan through the year. And so that's one of those things where it really does go hand in hand. It's not just the racing, it's not just the training. So it's one of those things where our ladies have responded to both so far. And again, whether for whatever the rankings are worth, we have moved up and have been noticed. So, but I think internally we feel like we've gotten better. And the big thing for us is we've stayed very consistent. So.
You have been consistent this year, a lot of top 10 finishes individually, a lot of top 5 finishes as a team. You're coming off a 9th place finish at the University of Wisconsin Brooks Invitational, and this was a 37-team field. A lot of racers, more than 500 in the field overall, and a lot of good teams. How much does your team get better by facing the best competition in the Midwest region?
Well, we got better because we got better. I think part of it is we set ourselves up to get to this point. The way you look at our race schedule, we ramped ourselves up incrementally. The races we picked, we didn't get in over our head in some sense. We also picked some low-key meets where the competition was still good, but we had some time to work on some team dynamics. You talk about using 5 meets. We had to use all 5 meets on the way to this point. So this was actually a very natural progression to get to at this point of the year with this Oshkosh meet. So.
And you mentioned that it's going to be a home meet for the CCIW Championships at St. John's Farm in Warrenville, and this is going to be like your 3rd meet there in about 4 meets. So, I mean, how much of a comfort factor does it play into when you get to race the same course over and over again and get
a lot?
better?
Actually, if you ask our upperclassmen, they'll tell you they've been on this course a good number of times over the last couple of years. So I think part of that's just having the comfort. We've practiced there. Again, we're not going to have the same. The travel will be very easy, just to getting there, obviously having a 15-minute drive. But the trick is still we have to stay in pattern. We still have to not lose ourselves in the fact and that it's convenient, but that it is still a competitive meet. We need to be ready to go. The familiarity with the course is always a plus, but again, you still have to be very mindful and respectful of who's around you.
Who are a couple of players that we should be watching out for? I know we have a couple of younger players on the team this year, a couple of really good senior leaders as well, but who are some of the younger players that we're watching out for?
Well, our captains are all seniors, and then our freshmen, we have Helen Majer from Warrenville South, Emily Trent, who's a runner from Ohio, and Amanda Cortez, but we have a good number of ladies in there. I think part of it is even our whole group as a freshman group, they've come in and responded real well, regardless of whether we're in the top 10 or not. And I think that freshman group really didn't act like freshmen. They transitioned and adjusted to what our upperclassmen had set the tone with. So that was really it was a good thing for them to be able to do. And again, for upperclassmen to be able to take them along not have as huge a transition in many ways was nice. So.
And obviously, the team is starting to gel a little bit more. You have those younger pieces, and you're starting to gel more as the season goes along. What is it about this team that is different from years past as a coach?
When we were about a week into the season, they already seemed like they've known each other for more than a week. That's what was, and we commented that early on that they really came together right away. That's not always an easy thing to do when you have a new group of people, and you have a mixture of just upperclassmen. So that was very much our strength right away. They figured it out right away. They found a bond. They found a synergistic feel right away from the first week, and that was very evident. So, and that's what's really been our strength this year.
And what would you consider a success by season's end? What type of result would you consider a success this year?
Of course, we want to be fighting for a conference championship next week. Of course, winning is always the best part of this, and of course, we want to continue to the national meet. But when you look at that, that's the byproducts of us really coming together as a team. It sounds cliche, but there's really something to be said about how a team comes together and how they produce together and how they leave the season together. And that's probably the biggest thing. And it's a team that you can be very proud of at this point, and certainly they're very proudful that they don't want to stop here. So we got another month to go. So I think they'll tell us what the mark they want to leave is, so which will be pretty neat.
So November 2nd, that's the CCIW Championships, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for stopping on, Coach.
Very good. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep. When we return, we'll be joined by a couple of runners that have been leading the way for this North Central cross country team.
Personal foul? Inactive activities on a glorious day. Huh? Let's get out there and play!
Sweet.
Ooh, freeze!
When do I get to be in? Uh-oh.
Hey, Reggie, frozen people can't talk.
PLA.
An hour a day.
I'm in. There are lots of great play ideas online, but don't stay too long.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. We're now joined by a couple of runners from the women's cross country team, Jacki McKown and Helen Majer. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Hello.
So we have one freshman, we have one senior on the set here. We'll start with the senior, the elder statesman of the group, the senior, Jacki. What's it been like this season? Obviously, last year took a couple steps back. You're a very young team, and here you are again this year, and you're doing very well, and the team is as well.
This year is really no different than last. I mean, you have new people that come in every year, and you have to kind of accommodate for them, teach them what it's like to be on the team. The only difference this year really is, like Mahesh was saying, that the freshmen came in and really adapted quickly. They came in and they didn't really ask a lot of questions. They just kind of followed along and just kind of figured out what to do, and it's really helped.
And Helen, you're one of the freshmen. You're from Wheaton-Warrenville South High School. What's been the biggest difference between running as a high school runner into D3 college?
I think the biggest difference was that the focus wasn't on doing good in the first races, but rather doing good at the end of the season.
And obviously, the season has been getting better as you've been going along here. You're starting to get better finishes week in, week out. The team ranked 5th now in the Midwest region. How far do you think this team can go this year?
I think that we can make it to nationals. We definitely have the potential to. Obviously, our focus right now is on conference and hopefully winning our conference and then moving on from there. You kind of don't want to look too far ahead. You kind of want to focus on what's coming first, but obviously we do want to make it to nationals.
And Helen, Mahesh was telling us how this team very quickly bonded off the race course as well as on the race course as well. What is it about this team that allowed you guys to gel so easily from the very beginning of the season?
I think it's because everybody's accepted as an individual and not as necessarily a freshman or a sophomore or senior, so there's not like a real hierarchy. It's more like we're all just friends and everybody's open to talk with everyone.
I guess that's kind of cool because as a team, as a cross-country team, a lot of it's based mostly on your team score. Individual results are nice, Jacki, but really the team score, I assume, is what is most important.
Yeah, the team score is important, but obviously the individuals go into it, and each person kind of feels like they're a part of the team then if they can be a part of the team score.
And obviously coming off the University of Wisconsin Brooks Invitational, as we talked about with Mahesh, what was it like in this meet, a big meet, a lot of runners in it? What was the one takeaway that you got from that big meet?
I thought it was good for everyone. to be able to experience having so many people around you all the time. A lot of our meets, we kind of relied on each other, which is good, but this meet we kind of had to focus on finding each other. So you kind of had to think a little bit more when you were starting. You kind of had to find each other and work a little bit harder. It was kind of more thinking involved, which gets you ready for bigger races.
How difficult is that? Obviously, when you're running a course, there are checkpoints in your mind. How difficult is it when you're running a course and you're without maybe a pack that you're running with? How difficult is it to kind of gauge where you are on the course?
Well, I usually just see the people in front of me and try to just get to the next person, and that's how I run my races. But it's always easier if you have a person from your team that can talk to you, that encourage you to like go faster, go after it.
And obviously a big team this year, a lot of really good runners in your top 7 and your top 10 beyond that, really. Why is this team so deep, and how do you kind of shrink up that top 7 come championship time?
Well, I think it's so deep because when they came in, the freshmen, everyone kind of felt like they belonged together. So in practice, we all run together. So everyone feels like, well, I can run with her. So in a meet, it's not really like, okay, she's a senior, I'm not going to be able to run with her. Or in a workout, she beat me, I won't be able to run with her. Because we practice that in workouts. We practice working together and encouraging each other. So when it comes to a race, we're not worried about what we can't do because we know we can.
In Augustana and as well as Illinois Wesleyan, these are 2 CCIW teams that obviously you will be seeing in the CCIW Championships come November 2nd. What do you know about these 2 squads as you've been racing against them for a couple of years, and how are you going to try to take that knowledge and use it as an advantage come the 2nd?
Well, what we know about them, obviously, is they're a good school, but I don't think our focus is necessarily on what we have to do to beat them necessarily. We're kind of just focusing on everyone and kind of pulling it together for ourselves. So instead of focusing on, say, 2 teams, we're just focusing on who we can beat. So I don't think that we necessarily have to worry about them. Not saying that they're not good, but I don't think we should focus on them. We just should focus on how well we're doing as a team.
And Mahesh was telling us during this, before the season, that October really is the time when you guys need to start gearing up, and hopefully you do that. We wish you the best of luck come CCIW Championship time, and we really appreciate your time here on the Cardinal Report.
Thank you.
That's all we have for this episode. We'll be back in a little bit more than a month during finals week, when some assumingly stressed out student athletes will join us on set. I'm Justin Zipser. We'll see you next time on the Cardinal Report.